Cecihoney here again with another pixel art tutorial or tip, or well, guess I'm changing this to tutorials. I guess more people take it seriously if it's a tutorial, and I guess that's what most people say, but between us, it's more like tips. Even though I do plan to share everything I know in this channel that can be helpful for pixel art. There are a few things you will notice that are more like with the flow, like we also we work with pixel art, we create new techniques according to our needs. That's what I do, and that's why I'm teaching you the very basics, the very foundations, because with those foundations you can build up to think for yourselves and not like be eternally depending on me or any other person, like a lot of content creators try to do, like uh, to create this dependence, like, oh, you gotta do their courses, you gotta know with this, you learn this, and from a certain point on you can solve your own problems. Sure, you can always ask me for something, and whenever I can I will reply, but I, you will be able to solve your problems faster and by yourself. So today's topic is color theory, or the most basic of color theory, but not as basic as the previous lesson. The previous lesson was more like, let's apply some color to the objects as we see here. So let's start with the primary colors. So in computer we got the RGB color sets, uh, which will have us like a certain percentage of uh, this or that color, and the RGB is like red, green, blue. That's what. But even if you are painting on the PC, even if you are using digital media, when it comes to understanding color, we go by the pigment color concept. So like where green is a mixture of blue and yellow, because that's how we perceive color. So let's start with the primary colors. I will pick something here so we can use the palette, and here you go, primary colors. So I'll take this down for a minute, because we won't be using these characters or these things so much. Let's make a color circle here. Let's pick a red, and let's pick a blue. So those are the primary colors as far as pigment goes. You have the red, the blue, and the yellow. And one thing we can also tell about this is that red and yellow are hot colors and blue is a cold color. Well, you associate blue with like the sky, the ice, the sea, which are mostly cold stuff, and we associate red and yellow to fire, to battle, to explosions. So it's important that you know that. It's important for the mood, it's important for what you want to represent in your artwork. So we then have the secondary colors, and over here we will use some orange, and the secondary colors, they go in between the colors we already have. So we have the green. Let's pick this other green here, which, yeah, and let's go with this green really. And we have the purple. So yeah, you can see that when I have these colors here, that the orange is in between the red and yellow, the green is in between the yellow and blue, and that. So those are your secondary colors. So far, these are pretty basic. We have a lot of in-between colors, in between all those colors. It's a lot of, you can check out the basic messy palette I have here. And Among this, you have the, let's say, neutral colors, which will leave it to the side here, like the bunch of grays, until like we have the white. And one thing about color for pixel art, in digital art in general, we don't recommend you use pure white or pure black on anything, because depending on how things go or how your background goes, your background might just be the pure white or pure black. So avoid that. My black here is not a true black. I will zoom it out. Like you see, it's just above the bar to be a true black. So don't use that. So why is this here so important? Because when you make an image, it's important that you know what these colors do for you. For example, you are making a sunny beach. Even if there is sky, even if there is water, you will try to use more hot tones. You pull the hot tones from the sand, which will be more yellow or orange or brown, and there's the sun, and the sky won't be as much of a purplish sky, dark, like this dark color here. It will be more towards the green of the spectrum, like this will be more like your sunny beach sky. It reflects with a lot more heat. So there is, with this in mind, with this color theory in mind, you have the ability to create your own palettes. I usually don't, as you saw in my previous video, I tend to not use a preset palette most of the time, unless like there is a job, there's a client who works in a certain way, works in a certain palette. No, my goal here, my usual goal is I go with those temporary colors I see here, and then I reduce the palette to just the colors I use over here, like colors. I reduce to 256 colors, and that's okay. And then I have just the colors I use here, and I can add other colors, but I will have like the apple already set here, so I can like make the red a bit more, but a bit more hot if I want to, for instance, or a little bit less saturated, and we will talk about hue and saturation in a while. So yeah, there are the color properties, and when we talk about the colors in this fashion, the properties of each color are important. What are the properties of each color? Well, the main thing is we see here in the shades of gray is contrast and light. So from here we have the black to the white. It shows some gradient from the darkest to the lightest, and we can have a graduation between colors which go from brightest or strongest, which is saturation, to the more dull or almost gray. So I will make you an example here. Easy example. Let's make a blue palette with all the colors. With a simple, I will use all those shades of blue. Over here, you will notice that the color palette not just goes from dark to light, but it also decreases on strength of the color. That's what we call the saturation. It's more like how vibrant some color is. Sure, it's this blue here is a bit more vibrant, but that's those are my placeholder colors. So yeah, here you go. Let me make this a bit more. And how we do? Over here we have the full vibrant color, and over here we have the more dull or grayish color. So yeah, now we see that this blue here is stronger, this one is more or less, and so on. So we have this kind of variation. This is important because sometimes you don't want just to make your shading flow from dark to light. You want it to flow from dark and more muted to dark and more vibrant. Same goes for hot and for when you want something like hot and cold. So for instance, like what I usually do with skin tones, I tend to use those four colors for skin tones. So for a basis, regardless of how white I want my skin tone to be, I will go here like that. So yeah, that's an okay gradient. But I want to use what we call cold shadows. It's when the darker the color is, the colder it is also. So if I want this to be colder, I will go more towards the purple here. Then I will go a bit towards the red over here. And here we start to go more along this orangish color. And then here it's almost yellow. With this, we can have something like this. You will see that this is a very interesting and different color palette than with what I had before. You can see there is a gradient where the lighter tones are more yellow, are more vivid, and the darker tones are more purple, so they feel more muted, like the shadow is taking over, so it's more cold. That's what we call cold shadow over here, and it's pretty cool to use. You can use this idea with any color. Just remember that the cold zone is here, and you slightly bring colors to the cold zone along the way as you are making a tree or something. We will look at this applied more into the future, but so far this is the basic color theory. You go like you understand what colors mean. uh, they each have a meaning, and cold or hot or neutral each have their purpose. Sure, you can look into the world around you to understand colors, like you can see how light goes over the trees, how light goes over a tree trunk or a wall or a car hood or anything like that, or over people, like how the light is going through me right now. That's a thing, and that will is what make that perception is the key to doing good art, regardless of it being pixel art, digital painting, or traditional art. All it is in your eyes and your mind and how you translate that into your work. So pay attention to the light, pay attention to the shadows, to the way how things feel and look in your ambience, and I will see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this this work. That's about it. Thanks for watching. Any questions, just leave a comment or send an email, and that's about it. Bye bye.